Hello, I'm Paul, and I'm going to show you some more. The previous video I showed how these Egyptian amulets, the Ankh, the Djed, the Heka, and the Nekhacha, were actually drawing tools, even though they're considered to be symbolic amulets. Similarly, the Masonic tools sometimes also should be used for actually creating a drawing. So here we have the outlines of a sketch. Some columns here from the Masonic model, 3 columns. And putting bases on the columns for the reason that to show the bottom, because it won't do you any good to look at the picture upside down by mistake if you pick it up the wrong way. And on top some circles to represent spheres, normally the world, the night sky, and the sun. So that gives us the start of this diagram. Now, to fill in the remaining dots, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just need to add a few more, and we've got the rest. So by doing that, we add in this one here, this one here, these 2 here, and we're back to 10. So now, to join up the dots, it's where it starts to get interesting. Because in some ways, and I need to get my center line just to work with the fact that now I realize that the symbols of these things were actually alluding to an actual diagram. I start to become more geometrically aware and really use my instruments a bit better and go to the centers of things to create the diagram. I'm starting to see that something is forming. But what? And to sketch the real diagram is only the first step. So there it is, the Tree of Life diagram as we've seen it before comes onto the page. But what is the next step? And here is where things get really interesting, because here we need to find the center of this triangle and the center of this triangle in order to give this part some substance, because at the moment it's just a line joining 2 spheres. It needs to expand out and form that solid shape in relation to its neighbors, so that every one of them is touching every other one. So now, next one would be there, and its other point would be the center of this triangle, which, if we remember from the other example, was where the Nekhacha was used on the clay to find the center of the triangle. So suddenly, we're getting a little bit more of a pattern forming. However, once one realizes that, and using just the eye, and it's a dirty piece of paper, and there's marks all over, and person's already tried to find the center of triangle by traditional means and can't, starts to mark them out a little bit more roughly. They start to look a little different, but finding the center of the triangles, suddenly over here, wait, I didn't draw in that line. Suddenly in the center of this triangle, we see, I didn't draw in that line, okay, there we go. Suddenly we see the eye in the pyramid. So that is an artifact, the eye in the pyramid. It's simply something that comes up when one is seeking for this geometric diagram. There are a number of artifacts. The eye in the pyramid is an artifact. Allegory is an artifact, saying that the tools are meant to be used symbolically rather than for actually drawing this diagram. Tarot cards are an artifact, really, even though each card can be seen to relate to each one of these paths. And it's very likely that the Enneagram is an artifact because it does look a bit like this.
Gurdjieff probably knew. And then the starts off is another artifact.
And of course, to join up these last ones, I will. There we go. And this one over here. And there we have the Stole crystal, the 8-pointed star in the center of the diagram.